Welcome to the Mexican Soccer Show. It's spooky season. Happy Halloween. As you can all see, we are all in costumes, looking great. An hour-long podcast dedicated to all crazy spooky things. Let's just do that. How are you all? How are you all? Good. Can you hear me?
Who are you starting with? You just
I don't
kind
know.
of vaguely said, "How are you all?" I'm like,
I
is he
felt
talking to
everybody
me?
just like froze. I'm like, wait, am I still not in? All right, we'll start with Cesar, or should I say Cesar? Is that Pikachu? Oh man.
Yes. There's nothing more spooky than a grown man wearing this child's outfit, right? Yeah, truly spooky season.
Still fits you.
True. But yeah, for those who aren't watching us live, I'm dressed up as Ash Ketchum. I got a little Pikachu here, and just and I should have thought of some sort of like gotta catch them all, like terrible like hot takes. I have no idea. I should have prepared for that. But anywho, here it's Halloween. I'm excited to talk Mexican soccer.
All right, and every time I think of Halloween, I also think of your birthday because it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I was working.
Yes, yesterday.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Cesar, during right Halloween.
Clearly, I'm 14.
Cari in Torreon, who said she didn't spend that much time on her makeup, but
I didn't.
Lies. That was like 40 minutes more than I did on my makeup today. So are good.
Hello,
Welcome, Cari.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to do, so I just looked up on Pinterest and I quickly did this. And I mean, I don't have flowers. If not, I would have did a proper Catrina with flowers. But I'm like, maybe I'm like a pirate Catrina or something like that.
Yeah,
go figure.
I like that.
Love it.
Cari, welcome to the show. Lizzie in Miami went as
In and out. Yeah, I am heading into the hot takes theme of this week's podcast and going for it and saying In and Out is so much better than any East Coast fast food burger that we have. So yeah, just getting into like the holiday spirit.
Sweet. So are you in and out, or are you in and out worker? Are you like?
I'm both.
You're both. Okay.
I'm both. I can be in and out, and the people who work there.
Okay. All right.
If anyone wants a burger, let me know.
There you go. As you can tell, Andres Guardado, 2005, 2006.
Yeah, because it was right before the World Cup, right?
Right before the World Cup. Yeah, right before the World Cup. I'm not an Atlas fan, but this is my favorite Liga MX shirt. I the way Kappa back in the day, the way that it still fits, and it's old, but I always loved this shirt. And then so I got the wig. I was gonna be Memo Ochoa, but decided not to because I didn't want you to hate me. Because I had this, but yes. So all right, we decided to dress up. Fun times in this Halloween. Don't know if we ever had this show on Halloween. I don't think so. So here it is. First time. We have a lot to talk about, especially Liga MX final, Pachuca CAMPEON. So we'll spend a little time on there. I want to get you guys' takes on the Liga MX, torneos cortos versus torneos largos. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some hot takes there. Chivas has 9 championships in torneos largos. America does not, but then America has more. I want to hear your takes. Is it the same? Sabo's already saying that's an Atlas. That's a classic Atlas Kappa jersey. Great stuff. I know. I like to collect nice jersey. Thank you for that. And I'm glad it still fits from almost 20 years ago. So we're good. And then we'll get to World Cup hot takes. This is a show where we'll take some sound bites. Let's see if you're right. We'll come back after the World Cup and be like, all right. It doesn't have to be about Mexico. So if you want to participate, we'll be reading them off too on the chat. And we'll be discussing it. So we'll have fun show today. As you can see, Halloween themed. And right after this, plenty of time. I know in the East Coast it's already getting a little late, so we'll make sure to get Lizzie out. So if you still want to go trick or treating, you can, Lizzie. And then give out some candy. Yes, Eduardo said he called it on Twitter. I guess it's Whistle's costumes. Yes, I put the emojis. I put fox, a king for the Principito, and yeah. But otherwise, somebody said Rodrigo Tobar. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So let's chat. Liga MX final, Pachuca. First of all, who said Pachuca? The left side of the screen on this side, Pachuca, right? And then us Toluca. But I'll go to you, Lizzie, right away. A first leg that just like it's fun to have that many goals, but then you're just kind of like, am I really gonna watch on Sunday? Can Toluca really do it? So overall, Pachuca champion, deserved champions, great team, the youngsters, good for Mexican football. Your takes on los Tuzos campeones?
Yeah, I think it was very deserving for both the roster and Guillermo Almada. I think we've known that it's his turn. La tercera es la vencida. It was finally his take to lift the trophy. No, I don't necessarily agree that we shouldn't have people didn't watch the second leg just because of La Goleada, 5-1, where it really should have been 5-2, missed penalty, ridiculous. But no, I think if there was a team that could have come back given the circumstances, it was going to be Toluca. I think just Pachuca showed off that they have the more athletic roster. They were quicker, they were better, they overpowered, but I still think Nacho Ambriz deserves credit. We've said his technical ability and his capacity to maximize the roster that he has was phenomenal, but still, Pachuca deserving, very good final. I'm sad Liga MX is over and we have to wait until January 6th, but celebrated accordingly yesterday.
Celebrated. Okay. Cari, it wasn't Nacho Ambriz. It wasn't his final. I keep saying, I've tweeted out, it is León 2.0, and like León, we lose a final. So it's right on schedule on that. But Nacho Ambriz, who I felt like, for a coach to lose, he was out there talking to the fans, taking off his shirt, enjoying that he got to the final, and we could be proud. Because even though he lost that final, it's Nacho Ambriz's teams are serious teams, and they could, even though they were embarrassed on that first leg, for Toluca fans going forward to the next season, and also Nacho Ambriz fans, what a coach, and we applaud it.
Definitely, I think in regards to the first leg, I don't think Toluca had a bad game. I just think Pachuca, as we know, their armor full of players was just not. We're just gonna go at all speed and did not care, no mercy, and that's what they did. It's like, obviously if Toluca would have won, people were like, well, they didn't deserve it. You go, the circumstances, whatever. Pachuca was a better team. That was the same thing what happened to America. This is Liga MX. Anything happen. Pachuca, credit. They have a really good team. They've been playing they've been pretty much consistent the whole time. Almada has definitely shown us that it doesn't matter what team he's on, he's going to make something out of it, in which he did, especially, pushing the youngsters out there, which obviously a lot of us fans, are applauding. It's no surprise. Pachuca was the better team, and they proved that. And I'm happy for all the youngsters on there. Kevin Alvarez was, saying about how his dad died when he was young, and he made him a promise that he's going to be a soccer player, and he did, and that's why he kept crying. And it just means so much to these youngsters. You see all the potential talent that could be, a lot of the faces in the next generation of the Selección Mexicana. So I applaud that. Nacho Ambriz, I feel sad for him. Meneses to me has been a fantastic player for Toluca, as is ¿cómo se llama este? I just lost the name.
Leo Fernandez? Leo Fernandez? I would say Meneses and Fernandez were my favorite players to watch from Toluca this season.
Definitely. So, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, yeah. Before we talk about Pachuca, I think the fact that Toluca were in the final, that was already success. It didn't matter what the scoreline was in the final, and I think the scoreline is actually a little misleading. And I don't really blame Nacho Ambriz for that loss in the final, because Toluca did have their chances. If you go back to the first leg, it could have easily. I think it was Camilo Sanveso who missed a pretty clear opportunity. It could have been 2-1. And who knows where the series would have gone from there. And I think the difference in the final, and especially in that first leg, which set the tone, was that Pachuca were just decisive. That's the word I'm going to use. They were just decisive with the chances they had. They finished the chances they had. They capitalized on them. And Toluca just couldn't do that because they didn't have their opportunities. So I feel like you got to... I know it seems weird to say, you got to give credit to Nacho Ambriz after losing a final 8-2, but I think you do. The fact that they were in the final, the fact that, especially with the crowd, they were down, 5 goals or whatever in the first leg, and they were still cheering the team on. They're still supporting them. You still had that away support in the Pachuca leg, and they clearly like they weren't like booing like Ambris. It clear like after the game they were still supporting him. So I think it was already a success for Toluca to be there. But of course, I mean Pachuca, they're just on another level. Gary said consistency about the team, and I 100% agree. We saw that last season. We saw that this season, and it's just such a well balanced and what I'll say is the best run club in Liga MX in 2022. You have promising young academy players, and then you have these more experienced options that are the glue of the starting 11. A Nico Ibanez, a Murillo in defense, a Ostari in net, and it's just it's really cool. I guess to see a team with a concrete plan, a concrete idea, and giving chances to young players, and then finding success and winning a title, as opposed to a team that could throw money at a roster and sign big players and just find success through that. So it's cool that even still, I know, it's not the biggest league in the world, but in Liga MX, you can still have a club with a philosophy, a really cool philosophy that benefits Mexican soccer and wins a title. So credit to Pachuca.
You tweeted out, Cesar, right? The last time Pachuca played, you had the 2 players that are in Europe. Yeah. We're looking at Chucky Lozano, Nico Gutierrez. We did joke around last week that it was also El Conejo in that team. But, everyone's kind of looking at it. Kevin, football is saying, any guesses what clubs Kevin Alvarez and Eric Sanchez, especially if they show out in the World Cup? This could be when we're looking back at it, where we would want to see them. To me, everyone just go to Netherlands. That's where everybody's like. Yeah. That's it. Mexicans should just start in Netherlands and then branch out. Don't go anywhere else. So, anytime somebody asks me about a young player, just go to the Netherlands. Like, everybody agrees. Everybody is.
They did have scouts, looking at Correct. Kevin Alvarez. So
yeah. On those stories on the scouts, I always kind of got to like, is that true? Was that somebody just going over there? Everybody likes that.
No, it is.
Was it really?
Yeah. And they have a partnership with the club Correct. As well. As PSV has with Chivas, Ajax has with Pachuca, which means they get priority on the transfer market. So if they want to sell, they get to their first pick. If they decline, then it opens up to other teams in Netherlands as well as Europe. But that's, I think, one of the best partnerships that they could have gone for.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that because I did write in a piece that, you looked at that last, Pachuca side 2016, and I'm going to throw Pizarro in there. I know people will be like, oh, why are you bringing Pizarro? Sure. But No, but he was an up and coming player at that point. There was a lot of excitement about him. And things didn't work out. He didn't go abroad. He went to Miami, and but it's happened. Things that worked out. So back in 2016, he was a part of that trio with Eric Gutierrez, with Chucky Lozano, where it seemed like this was a really exciting generation of talent. And I think that you're seeing that now with Mauricio Isais, with Kevin Alvarez, I wish I could throw Luis Chavez in there, but he's a little bit older. But he is someone who looks like he could be Europe bound. But of course, Eric Sanchez as well. And I'm not saying that all of them should go to Europe, because first off, that would be disastrous for Pachuca's roster next season. So you can't lose all 3 players.
All go to Europe.
Yeah. So I think maybe you let Luis Chavez go, and then maybe another player, and see if there's some potential options there to supplement those players. But maybe if next summer, maybe a year down the line, because remember, even after that success in 2016 with Pachuca, it wasn't as if Guti and Chucky immediately left. I think Chucky, it might have been at the season. Guti, it might have been like a year and a half. But still, there's going to be more attention on these players, and I do hope that they eventually make the move abroad. As to what club, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, hopefully something like the Netherlands would be. It seems like that's a step in the right direction.
Everyone agrees on the Netherlands. Again, exciting football. There was a hope, at least for me, Toluca scoring. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's see. And then, we're like, okay, let's score the other one. What else is on Sunday? Okay, we'll watch. I definitely like to see.
It was still good. No, it was a great.
No, it was. It was. Yeah.
I stopped watching.
Really?
I thought it was great.
I mean, I wasn't like, okay, it's exciting. I watched just because I want to see these players. And then I always like trophy ceremonies, regardless if it's not my team.
I watched the trophy ceremony, but after the 8-2, I was like, okay. Yeah, okay.
It was easy for work. I was like, oh, right. I can already build the narrative here. Oh, man, I don't have to wait till the 90th minute. This is fantastic.
True.
Well, the ref didn't wait until the 90th minute either. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there was 89, 50. I think it was actually the 89. It might have been 3 seconds early.
90.
Yeah, I saw 89 and he called it. And
yeah,
I think Amy tweeted out something. It was just like,
minute. Like, do they
Amy
have their
definitely
own?
tweeted something out. It was like, I forget exactly what she said. About like it was almost like someone trying to leave work early, but it was definitely kind of like it's Friday and it's like 4:50 vibes, and it's like, all right, you know, like we know what's happening here. Let's just head out.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone's saying, is it true that Luis Chavez is going to FC Porto? Cesar, I don't think there's.
Those are the rumors. That's what some reports are saying.
Yeah, Porto's cool. Porto's always been cool.
They're saying that they have a potential agreement and after World Cup. I think last night I saw that he said like he appreciates the rumors and we'll see, but I feel like that's something's already kind of maybe advanced in that.
Whether it's Porto or another club, you can tell when deals are quite serious in Mexican soccer when it's not just one like publication saying something or one media company saying something. When it's like various reports, when during the game on TUDN, where they're just like, oh yeah, European clubs are looking at him, then you can tell that it's like, yeah, this is gaining a lot of ground. So whether it be Porto or not, I'm not sure, but it's clear that there is interest for him, and as there should be. There should be European interest in this player. So it looks like he could potentially move abroad this winter.
Yeah, I'm excited to see after the World Cup, you know, how fast, and then all those teams that want like star players before the World Cup, and then they get kind of, you know, big and it's more expensive after the World Cup. I wanted to see who before, so I guess maybe Jorge Sanchez was there, but you know, Jorge Sanchez is struggling. But we'll talk about a little bit of Mexican abroad a little later. As far as Pachuca, 7 titles now in the Torneos Cortos, and I wanted to bring up kind of this figure and have this kind of chat with you all regarding Torneos Cortos, because when we're seeing right before the final, Toluca and Pachuca are the 2 teams with the most titles after 1998, 99 in the Torneos Cortos that has started, and the discord back and forth. Well, you know, Torneos Cortos are not like the long ones. Those were kind of like giving like more stars. And I want to hear your thoughts. You know, when you look at the times before the Torneos Cortos, is it cheapen the is it any less the campeonatos now when your team wins it? Or maybe not when your team wins it, maybe when another team wins it. But Cari, León, 5 titles before Torneos Cortos. As a fan, you kind of go, yeah, we did it when it was hard, right? Like you kind of get that little bit of, but you know, 3 it'll be campeonato. I don't take any less on that. But to you are the same. They're the campeonatos, and we should treat them as like that, because I'm pretty sure in 10 years, you know, the way is trending: Tigres, Pachuca, Monterrey, Toluca, Santos, you know, and then you have all the Cruz Azul, Pumas, America, Chivas, those top 4s. You know, in 10 years, you might see a different club with the most stars. What's your take?
I actually think we should count them as is. I feel like regardless, if no one's ever going to be happy with it. Obviously now there's more issues with, obviously we know what's happened with Atlas, and then, you know, Lergy came in and scooped them in. And I mean, if we're going to have the same descenso type of thing or not, I mean, it doesn't benefit a lot of people, because I think there's still, you know, Liga MX Mafia in there, and you know, there's just some things that it's not talked about, but we know it's going behind closed doors. I think in Torneos Cortos, I think it's more fun, you know, versus like, you know, in Spain, I mean, you have, you know, for the most part, the same type of, you know, teams up there. I think it would not be beneficial to go back to that.
No, not
what I think.
Here are on the screen the most before the Torneos Cortos. You had Guadalajara, América 9, 8, Cruz Azul con 7, León arriba con 5, then it drops down. Pumas 3, Toluca was there, Necaxa, Atlante, Puebla, Tigres, Atlas somewhere in the bottom, and then just these other teams that I was like, oh yeah, they won, right? Tecos, Monterrey is in there, Tampico, España, Asturias. But Atlas is there in 1951.
Asturias.
Yeah, right. Look at this.
My grandpa, I think my grandpa played for them. What was that? Asturias.
There you go.
I'm just kidding now. That was a joke.
My
dad claims he played. My dad claims he played for Chivas' B team, but I think as I got older, I was like, well, actually, a lot of dads in the United States claim they played for like Chivas, like
tried out
Chivas' B team or something like that.
for it. And then when you look at the torneos cortos, you know, Pachuca 7, Santos, which, you know what? I didn't know how many like times Santos won since like torneo cortos. Like
yeah,
6.
they've been doing, yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense. América con 5, Tigres con 5, Monterrey con 4, Pumas, León. And I took this off the goal because I didn't have a little bit of a Chivas con 3, and then Cruz Azul with 2, Atlas, Cholos is there, and Morelia. And what's interesting about that whole talk and just kind of the discourse of it is a lot of people are saying, well, you know what, it was a lot harder back then, but if it's as easier, why aren't these teams getting all those títulos now? So, Karif, to you, yeah, it's a lot more fun. Lizzie, a ti, you know, when you're looking at the big four that way before, and then now everything is kind of changing, seeing Toluca and Pachuca have that many titles in, you know, in 20 some years, the landscape is definitely changing.
Yeah, I agree though. I do think it's more fun and refreshing to have torneos cortos because you kind of reset the clock every 17 games without liguilla. One would think though that those who have more money have the ability to deepen the squads and reinforce and train and to all these preseasons. But really, as Liga MX proves time and time again, anything can happen. So seeing a Pachuca Toluca proves that Torneo Cortos just propels that idea of Liga MX. So I tend to stick to that. Also, Torneos Largos, they have their cons. I think you have to prove to an ability that if you're consistent, you win. But then you have injuries and different things, and it's just, I don't know, monotonous to say the least. And plus, we have international football that follows those ideas. So if we're going to be different, we might as well go all out and provide the most entertaining league. And that is what Liga MX does, apart from skill as well, but entertainment nonetheless.
So, Cesar, torneos largos, torneos cortos. I think and I tried to look for it and I couldn't find it, where if the season became like torneos largos, I think Cruz Azul would have like a lot of, like in the last like 10 years, like Cruz Azul is always like with the most points but never wins. But Cruz Azul would be a team that would be up there rivaling the, you know, some of the, I think we're probably the number 1 team if we look at torneos cortos. And I guess Cruz Azul fans could be happy with that. Almost.
I think my only hot take is actually the irony of Pachuca winning it is actually, I think that this format, I like it. I love it. It's fantastic. I don't think it helps Mexican youth development. I think you have a lot of teams that need immediate results. You need teams who bring in managers. Remember, there's a significant amount of manager turnover in Liga MX. Like, I can't imagine what the average Liga MX stint is for a manager. I'm guessing it's probably a little under a year, is probably my guess. So because that, you don't really prioritize trying to bring in new young talent. You don't prioritize giving enough opportunities for those young players, because what makes, and it's tough because I'm not saying that I'm rooting for one or the other, but what makes Liga MX so exciting is that every single weekend matters. And because that, it's a very, very attack-minded league. You know, 3 points could be the difference between finishing second and qualifying to the quarterfinals, or potentially like going to like at the very bottom of the repechaje. Like, we see that because it's 17 weeks. So I think it's a really, really exciting format. It's fantastic. It's great. It's beautiful attack-minded soccer week in, week out. But I do think it comes at a cost, to be honest. And I do think that in spite of what, and I think that's what makes Pachuca's success so, I guess you could say, inspiring, because you don't see, and you are seeing more teams, and you can see the examples like a Pumas, like an Atlas or a Santos, where they prioritize giving opportunities for young players, but you can't say that for every single Liga MX club. And I would like to see it be more of a development league, and, you know, selling off more players to Europe, because it needs to be doing that. You know, Liga MX president Mikel Arreola has said that he wants it to be more of a selling league, and actually I think a good way to do that is make it into a year-long format, because guess what? If you're not fighting for the playoffs in week 4 or whatever, like you're trying to like move your way up, if you have a longer format, then you can afford to give players more opportunities, especially now that Copa MX is gone. You know, that's gone, and you don't have those midweek games. And so it's, I don't know, my hot take isn't regarding like whether those titles were more important back then or now, but it's more so of, I think it's fun, it's great, but I think it does come at a cost. And
Yes.
I think you need results now in Liga MX.
Yeah, no, I think I completely agree. I think there's cons and pros on both. I'm kind of with you. We're kind of just get monotonous, Lizzie, and kind of like, okay, well, we already know, by the, a month and a half before the winner, if it's, but at the same time, that would never happen in Liga MX. So maybe it wouldn't, it is exciting when it's like the last one and everyone's trying to see, but there's no relegation. So continuing the playoff format, like kind of the American sports and then next year with almost the March Madness feel that's happening with the MLS. Like that's where I kind of go. So I said, I'm like, well, there's a lot of other tournaments that these youngsters could kind of go to, but then they're told they need to play seriously and take it seriously. So,
well, not everybody's going to qualify for the CONCACAF Champions League, and teams can get knocked out of the League's Cup really quickly. So it's outside of that. I think most teams aren't going to be involved in the knockout rounds of those tournaments. But yeah.
Regarding the league, when you look at the standings, let's see if I can zoom that in because let's see. There we go. So if you look at the league standings, Club America Monterrey, Santos Laguna, and there is a number that if you end up in the 6th spot, you will not win Liga MX because it's still Toluca gets to the final, and yet in Torneos Cortos, if you're in the 6th spot, the curse of the 6th happened again. But when you look at that list, we can talk about surprise. We can talk about when you're looking at. I'm surprised about Atlas doing just that horrible like this season. And it's from what they were to what now. But to you guys, when you're looking at that now that the season's over, Pachuca and Toluca. I mean, we talked about if you would have told me who would have won. But outside of that, anyone that jumps out as a season to forget or a season to remember?
Honestly, I think Santos had a season to remember. I am a fan of Fentanes and the work that he's doing with the team. Again, I think he's one of the coaches that maximizes the roster that he has in front of him. He and the team managed a great number of goals, but he didn't have on the roster one leading goal scorer. They were spread throughout the team. So I think that was phenomenal on his end. He's very tactically driven, which is great to see. And as Cesar said, we need that development of academy players and young figures. And I think he trusts his players to do that and develop. So I personally like where their project is heading. I'd love to see Fentanes take on more. It was disappointing to see him fall out, but it was against Toluca, so it's okay.
All right. Santos, and again, I tweeted out too, right? It's either going to be Toluca, Pachuca, or Santos winning Liga MX. This is way before everyone had the Club America and Monterrey and Tigres were still alive. And I'm like, guys, I don't know why it's going to be those 3 teams because I feel it. Cesar, surprise team to remember, a team season to forget for you?
I mean, even though Toluca lost 8-2 in the final, I'm going to give them a lot of credit. I did not expect them at all to be qualifying for the final. I already talked earlier today about how Ambrí should be given a lot of credit. It's super cool to see him continue to wear the kit during the playoffs. You don't typically see a manager wearing the kits. And I was talking to Sebastian Saucedo over there, the midfielder for Toluca. I asked him about it. I was like, so what's the deal with him wearing the kit? And he said that Ambrí just wanted to be a part of the team, a part of the guys. And he said that they kind of made fun of him for a little bit, but then they're like, oh, actually, it's almost as if he's kind of an extension of the team. He's not someone who's above them or someone who's some sort of guy who's supervising, but just almost he's a part of the squad. So I think that there's going to be a lot of let's just say they're going to be a tough team to beat in 2023. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ambrí and Almada are potentially in the conversation for Mexico's national team as well as manager in 2023. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. But a season to forget, I mean, it has to be Tigres. When you have that roster, when you have that manager, when you have the amount that you spend on that squad, they shouldn't be finishing where they're finishing in the regular season and the playoffs. Piojo can make excuses about his squad, but in the end, he is making excuses about how they ended because he knows that they should be capable of doing more. And I think that it's going to be tough for him to last much longer. I'm not saying he's to be fired this winter, but because I think they would have already fired him by now. But I wouldn't be surprised if he is fired, let's say, midway through next season, if he doesn't start getting results, because you can't make this kind of investment and finish just 3 points above a Toluca, who are, I will still say, a work in progress as opposed to Tigres, So I was pretty let down by them. I think that was a season to forget. And I think, let's just say that, when the next time that we're looking for an L3 manager, nobody's going to be immediately saying Piojo again, because I feel like he still has a lot more to prove.
We finally can say is like Tigres is done. Like, it's not the Tigres, the dynasty that's bad. And I would say dynasty just because they were always title contenders. Mr. Leguilla is getting older. Isn't that same impact? Although that first leg, when they, getting eliminated, especially Pachuca, we're like, all right, Tigres is back. Tigres is going to make the next round. They only have a second leg, and they have to beat Pachuca, who's Pachuca? But yeah, so I interesting to see. Tigres is spending a lot, and they will continue to spend a lot. They do it. They're gonna continue to spend a lot. Name out there that people are looking at, and I sent it over to our chat, Cesar, is Diego Lainez. His struggle, and just throw money at him.
Yeah.
Nobody in this Mexican soccer show or the fans, I'm sure, are wanting that, but Tigres will be serious. Yes, they're gonna want the superstars. They want people to talk about Monterrey shopping for internationals, and it's Monterrey and Tigres just spending a ton of money, and it's worked for them.
Yeah, that's also the beauty, and also, once again, the difficulty with Liga MX. We could talk about the short season format, but we can also talk about the reason why Liga MX has done so well. Let's say the CCL, why they've dominated year after year after year. Yeah, they lost recently, but when you look at the historical numbers, it's just incredible how long they've dominated, and it's because they can afford to do that. Tigres can afford to do that. Rayados can afford to do that, and America can afford to do that. It's just there are a lot of teams that are capable of doing that, and yes, it makes it such an exciting league. Yes, it makes it incredible, but also it could have a promising up and coming player move from abroad back to Liga MX. So not a fan of that. I think Linus still has a lot to offer, but I will say like Lizzie said on, I think it was on the last podcast, there's a lot that we can say here as we watch him on the field, as we watch him, what he does for a club and for country. But if you have now 2 club teams in a row that aren't utilizing him very often, obviously there are variables and factors there with the depth that Real Betis have. But now when he goes to Braga, on paper, he should be a starter. And if he's still not getting significant minutes, you do start to wonder, it's like, all right, is there something else? His mentality, is he not good at training? Is just I don't know. So I think you do have to wonder what's happening there. Is there something we're not seeing? His training, his attitude, I'm not entirely sure. So we'll see what happens there in his near future.
To finish off the segment, Kari, season to remember, or season to forget? Who you pick?
Well, I think to forget Atlas, regardless of their questionable refereeing decisions that got them to win the bicampeonato, because I will say that. I will. I mean,
the views of Kari only shared by Kari, not the rest of the Mexican soccer show. If you have any complaints,
bicampeonatos, both questionable in the way that Atlas got.
Tweet at Kari Torres _7.
Especially the one versus Leon that I did cry, but we're not going to talk about that because the Lions Den podcast, that the game, a lot of the games are banned to talk about when they happen. I mean, Atlas, it was destined to decline after that. After their bicampeonatos, they did what they needed to. Obviously, with Olergi, I think they prioritized Atlas getting up there and getting campeonato versus Santos. Although with Santos, I was impressed because with Caixinha, it was terrible. And being there every single game, I did see them, getting to the semifinal, final, which was obviously disastrous how they ended their season. In regards to Cruz Azul, honestly, I mean, I know El Hubiera Nunca Existe, but obviously they declined us after Santi left, which we're not happy Santi left. But after that, I mean, to me, they were kind of, just lost. even more so than their coach leaving so quickly. After obviously we know the brutal game, but I think Santi played a huge role in the goal scoring aspect. And after that, they were just didn't have in mind how to replace Santi, which I'm so stoked he's doing, well over there and starting and whatnot. And America, you guys know I hate America, but props to them. Their last game that they lost was versus Leon, which I have to say that again. But after that, they were just a goal scoring machine. And obviously, especially talking about leading to World Cup, I'm happy Henry had, the season that he did. But it was impressive. America just out of nowhere turned it around, and then they fell with Toluca, which was the funny part. But another Liga MX, exciting tournament.
That's tough too with America, because I feel like if it was any other club, you'd be like, wow, look at that run they went on. They scored an incredible amount of goals. They dominated so many games. They finished in first. Yeah, they didn't win the title, but what an incredible run. But because it's America, you can't help but be like, oh, well, that's not
because their fans were talking like crazy.
No, but it's not even the fans, but it's just the expectation of the club is you're supposed to be fighting for the title. It's not just the fans. It's clearly ownership too. It's just we should be fighting for titles every single season. So it's tough because I like Tano Ortiz and what he's been doing, and what a roster, what an incredible roster, and I've been so impressed by them. But then that's how I feel. But ownership and fans clearly feel very differently.
To your point, I think they do have these high expectations, and as they should, giving the money, the roster, everything. But I don't think we've seen a team dominate the way they have in such a long time. Though the expectations were high and that's what they're supposed to do, I think they exceeded, personally, in my opinion, the way they played the regular season. I don't think anybody expected them to connect so well and see a team flow with the ball as they did from Ochoa to Henry Martin. It was just
the pass sometimes. He had an assist on one of those goals.
Yeah.
Ochoa to Henry Martin.
But so expectations are always high, but I think this time they kind of exceeded it.
Yeah.
Also, someone just saying in the chat that Chivas just announced a new manager right now.
They did. I'm working on it.
Who?
It is
lots of things happen.
Albert Celades. And they're posting a picture of how hot he is.
All right.
Holy comments in the Chivas tweets. This name I've heard of him. I think now since Hierro became sports director. I think since February 2022, he's coached Serbia Sub-20, Chicago Fire 2015-2019, and Reading Inglaterra from 2020 to 2022.
Oh, this is definitely oh wow.
Well, there we go. Breaking news always in the Mexican Soccer Show. When we come in and we're discussing it. So here's how it is. I'm sure we'll get our takes on Chivas. Chivas is always trying to figure out a get in the conversation, by the way, because we were not talking about Chivas at all. With seasons to remember or forget. I'm the season for Chivas. It's the regular season for Chivas. Not even a bad season, but not anything to remember. So I'll keep them in the kind of category. Leon somewhere in there.
Sorry, I think his name is Veliko Paunovic. Sorry.
Serbian manager. Interesting. Okay.
Serbian man. Veliko
he did used to coach. That's right. I do remember him coaching Chicago Fire. That's right. Yeah. Anywho, sorry, threw you off there.
We'll see. America. No, I'm in the same boat with you guys. I think America is just amazing to watch. It was fun to watch a team that dominated. When you said, it was another team that's dominated like that, I'm like, I think Leon had that little record run, but then it's Leon. So it's what happened that season. All right. There it is. Apertura 2022 is over. I thought there was going to be some type of little mini tournament between the World Cup that was going to get announced. It's kind of like a little bubble tournament because of so many players that are not going to have action for so long. I don't know if they're still going to announce that. Did that get canceled, or there's going to be I don't know. So maybe not. But
the only Liga MX is they could be announcing it the week before, and then just
So that's kind of what I heard, that there will be some type of little mini tournament. And who knows? Probably in Miami in a bubble,
Welcome, guys.
Are you talking about the one in Mexico? The one in Mexico, the tournament in Mexico?
No, they probably do. They probably do it in the U.S. if they were to do something like this, or for financial reasons.
Well, I mean, I heard it's probably going to be in Monterrey and Chivas.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I know at this point.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. We'll see where that little tournament. I think it's like in December, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Before and then Liga MX Clausura starts in. I wrote it.
January 6th, I believe.
Yeah, it should be then. Yeah.
So it would be.
Right away.
I heard is considered like their preseason tournament, with players returning back to training on November 22nd.
All right. On to our next. All right. No more Liga MX talk. Great season. Now we're starting to look into the World Cup. It's here. It's in less than. It's here. It's here for. And I wanted to get this little segment since we had so much fun the last segment on Cari's takes that we wanted to give everybody a chance to have because of the of Cari's hot take that she's like doesn't like Ochoa. If you haven't listened to that,
we have hot takes at the Lions Den podcast. I have a whole clip with fire. Like someone has a hot take, and then we'll play the hot take like alarm clip. So
what was it? Can you do that again?
Yeah. Production notes for us. We'll have one hot take.
I think the issue is if I was on that podcast, I would just say a hot take every second, so then you would have to constantly play that on loop, and it would just be the most annoying thing ever.
Yeah. You would say like, I
like pineapple pizza.
Like, wait.
I love pineapple on pizza.
I don't visit In-N-Out. It's like, oh man, I would just do it like one after another, and just like
Pokemon is overrated.
Whoa. All right, well, it's a good time, everybody. I'm leaving. I think Pikachu agrees.
Your hot take has to make somebody mad in this show. Like that's an official hot take. Like make sure someone gets mad. It's like, it's MLS is better than Liga MX or something like that. So Cari could be mad.
Stop. You're gonna make me mad the whole time.
I'm just kidding. All right. Let's talk about World Cup hot takes.
Leagues Cup is the greatest tournament of all time.
If you have a World Cup hot take, put it on this chat, and we'll talk about it too. So yes. All right, we'll start with Lizzie. We'll start with you. So as your World Cup hot take for this, go for it.
I have a few.
Go for it.
The first is I would like to see a midfield that includes Guti, Edson, and Charlie Rodriguez, and have Guti and Edson be defensive midfielders at the back. Would love. That one doesn't really make people mad because there's a Guti train going on.
I think everybody wants Guti, and like that's like the.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be Andrés Guardado.
My second hot take is I would love to see El Piojo Alvarado go and play at some point and have Alexis Vega and Piojo Alvarado on the field at the same time. I'm a big fan of bringing in duos that work day in and day out together at a club. That's why I vote for Cesar Montes and Hector Moreno at the back because they train, they know each other, confidence, whatever. But
Gallardo.
Yeah. But I think on and off the field throughout the season, we've seen that Piojo and Alexis Vega have some type of chemistry. And if you haven't seen from the games, you've seen from their TikToks and Instagram stories and his birthday celebrations for Piojo. So yeah, I would love to see him at some point translate that chemistry into World Cup stuff.
If you do that, that means that potentially Diego Lainez might not go to the World Cup because according to Guevara Naranje, that there's the two wingers who are fighting for spots within each other are Alvarado and Lainez. So I see what you're doing there, and I do think
let's make it, Lizzie. You could only take one.
No, well,
Alvarado, this is a hot take. We're putting everybody on the hot
take. You
gotta
pick.
You have one to take: Piojo Alvarado or Diego Lainez right now.
To me, that's an easy answer, but I want to hear.
I know, but I'm going to go against him. I don't want to. That's so hard. Okay, here's my thing. I think if it wasn't the name and el factor, we've seen a player, random name, that we see a player not do well with Betis and then go to Sporting Braga, not see any minutes, and have like double digits instead of triple digit minutes ahead of the World Cup. I think we would be a little doubtful of bringing him over. Especially because of people like have been talking about Johan Vasquez, the fact that he doesn't get that much time with Cremonense, and like why is he considered in the roster as such a, like an important aspect. I love Diego Lainez. I think he has the potential para arrancar on the field and be that special little factor. But I don't think that will use him accordingly. So I think given the situation, I would lean towards Piojo, but I wouldn't necessarily. I would cut other players.
Go with the hot take.
But if you're
Lainez does not make it to the World Cup. Or Piojo Alvarado.
No, that wasn't my hot take. But between the two, I would.
We should put it up in all caps.
I'm gonna put it all on caps.
Add it on the.
Just like in all caps.
On the banner.
Just like somehow put it on her background. Like just like.
And I love Lainez too, but no, I think El Factor needs a little more time on the field.
Okay. That's okay. It was like a medium take. Like they were all like we all agreed on it almost. We're like, all right, this is nobody was like bothered by it. Like, you know, so but we would put the banner right here.
I don't think we should take Piojo Alvarado. It just says no line.
I love Lainez.
I honestly have never liked Piojo Alvarado in selección. I just don't know why he's considered, but I mean, at this point, I think
he provides something different tactically.
I like him.
I don't. I just think no me da like I've said before. There's selección players and then there's club players. I think in Chivas, I do like them. I just don't like them in selección. And if we're going to decide between taking Lainez or taking Piojo, I'd rather take Lainez who subs in and gives, you know, some freshness to a team in second half at minute 60 than a Piojo that's been struggling all game, you know. So for me, it's Lainez over El Piojo.
Yeah.
That's mine.
It's tough because because I feel like the thing is like Lainez is an incredible game-changing risk taker. And I think, and I mentioned before, I feel like the closest we can get to Tecatito, he's not on the level of a Tecatito. The closest we can get to a Tecatito is a Lainez. But what I will say about Piojo Alvarado is that he's, and I think what makes him so frustrating, but also so good, I guess, in a way, is that he's versatile, and I still don't know what's his best position. So because he's like a central midfielder who can play on the wing. So he provides something different on the wing. So if you want to have something tactically where you focus on just Chucky, just be like, you know what, you're the focus, just go forward. You're going to be on the left-hand side. Just take the ball. We're going to be doing a lot over there. And then you can kind of focus on the other end, maybe a little bit more distribution, maybe a little bit more with helping defensively, maybe against a more tougher opponent, like let's say like in Argentina. It would be ridiculous actually to have a Piojo right there to kind of like help almost as like a third central midfielder, if you will, on the winger. So I can see the pros and cons. I don't have an answer for that because luckily I'm not Tata Martino, so I don't have to make that decision. But
see, but my concern is I agree with everything you just said. My thing with Lainez is the way Tata utilizes Lainez. Like I've seen him play him and put him in at minute like 80. And at that point, you're really not doing anything. So, and for some reason, like Tata really likes Piojo too. So I think given the coach that we have, that's better.
Hate is not, no, I dislike him as a player. I like him as a person. I dislike him being a selección player. Get it right, Wiso. Because I already had hate coming towards me in the memo comment. Okay?
No.
Oh, no. Sorry. Go, Lizzie.
No. But yeah, like I think given, it's kind of like my dream with Edson and Guti. Like I'm not going to get it, but I want it. But...
There we go. I think this likes Piojo Alvarado. I'm in the camp that I like Piojo Alvarado. I think he can be something different. And I've seen when he's been on the national team, and this is where I kind of disagree, Cuddy. Like, I think I'm like, hey, all right, Piojo's done well with the national team. Like he has. I've looked at him like at first I'm like, and I'm watching the Chivas. I'm not like he shouldn't be national team material. I was like, why is he getting called up? Then Tata playing him, and then comes in as a sub, or even I think started a couple games. I kind of liked it. I'm like, I want him to go. then I have like this weird kind of like, not weird, but it happens a lot when like you get to talk to a player and you're like, oh, you know what? I feel bad for you. Like I really like Piojo. Like him and I talked for like a long time. I'm like, you know what? I hope you go, man.
Yeah.
And it is like that's the sad part.
See, but that's the thing. Like,
I know.
You have to separate it. If I talk to him, I'm like, you know what? He's a great person. But we're talking about selección. We're talking about do or die match.
Completely. No, completely. That's why I said selfish reason. I'm like, but.
Like Yasa Corona would always seem pretty cool. But I wouldn't start him in the national team.
I would not take him over Diego. Diego's Diego Lainez, so we'll see. All right, let's go over to. We're gonna leave Cari because I'm pretty sure those hot takes are gonna come. We're gonna leave Cari last. Cesar, hot takes for the World Cup.
You know, I was thinking about this. And there was like this Occam's razor situation where like the most obvious hot take is the one that's right in front of you. And for me, the most obvious hot take is Mexico's going to do okay at the World Cup. that seems like
what is okay?
They're going to make it out of the group stage.
They're going to make it out of the group stage.
Are we going to go to the quinto partido?
No, I can't make that.
Is that your hot take?
I'm not.
Hot take.
No. Honestly, no. I think the hot take is actually because like there's so much negativity. People say it's like this could be the worst World Cup ever.
Anybody disagree with Cesar? Is that a medium take? I think they're gonna make it out of the World Cup. Out of the World Cup. Make it out of the group.
The thing is, I agree. I think everybody's upset, but I think that's nationally in Mexico because when I speak to everyone outside of like La Selección bubble and like internationally. Everyone's rooting for Mexico. Everyone sees them as like a decent opponent. Like it's difficult to beat. They're different in the World Cup. But then in Mexico, everyone it's like an internal.
Exactly, and related to because I've been talking to a Polish journalist for like because obviously there's a lot of interest in Mexico, and there's a lot of interest like what's happening with the Polish national team, and it feels like there's similarities with what's happening in Poland that's happening with Mexico. It's like you have a team that isn't playing to the level that it should be. They have a team that's been struggling in 2022, but it seems like the one thing that stands out in my conversation with this Polish journalist is saying, no, things are worse for Poland's national team than for Mexico. And the more I talked to them, the more I realized, like, well, actually, it does seem pretty dire. You have a Polish national team where they don't have a defined system. We could talk about what Tata Martino will do tactically, what the formation that he'll likely have at a 4-3, but with Poland, they're still experimenting. They're still trying to figure that out. They told me that they had this huge call-up of players recently where like extended up to like 40-something players because they're still trying to decide what to do when it comes to this national team roster, that there's key injuries like Mexico, but it might be even more dire for the Polish national team. So as of now, I mean, and I hope that Mexico doesn't end up losing like 3-0 or something. But as of now, I think I feel a little bit more confident about Mexico getting the win there. This Polish side struggling against Argentina and Mexico making out of the group stage. And I think that in itself, it sounds dumb. And maybe this is more so of a hot take, more so for just like for the Mexican soccer world, where it feels like I'm not saying I feel optimistic Mexico could do great. They're going to fight and get to quinto partido. But no, I feel like the bar has been lowered for what is now success for Mexico in the World Cup. Maybe in the last World Cup, previous World Cup, we would say making it to the quinto partido is a success. For some odd reason, internally, when you talk to journalists, we talk to a bunch of people, it feels like just making out of the group stage is a success. So for me, my hot take is I think Mexico is going to make it out. They'll be fine. Beyond that, you can't make any true predictions. Cesar says Mexico will win the World Cup in 2026. In 2026, it's going to be great. Brandon Vasquez is going to get a crossover from Kevin Alvarez. It's going to head it in. It's going to be great.
Bill Alvarez heads it in for
yeah.
I know what you mean. It is a hot take. People are already saying it like, hey, if you're like, hey, Mexico is going to do fine. And I'm in the same kind of boat with you because I will feel embarrassed because the haters will come in. U.S. men's national team fans are going to be like, if you didn't make it out of the group, everyone's going to laugh at us like, oh, man, no, I'm not ready for the embarrassment. Once you make it out of the group, whatever, we made it out of the group. Yeah. Like you can kind of go, it's expected to lose the next one. We're not being embarrassed unless we play a team that we should beat. Unless
there are always upsets in the World Cup too. We have no idea what's going to happen in the knockout. Yeah, because it's like, oh, would it be a
Mexico has embarrassed themselves when they should have beaten teams like in in this. So I'm with you there. I would say more like it's a medium take.
It's a medium take.
I'm gonna. Any other hot takes, Cesar?
I don't know. It might be like logistical disaster. Can I say that for the World Cup?
Yeah, I don't think it's a hot
I don't know if
take.
that's a hot take though. I think that's
people I think people agree with that too. It's
it's gonna be
nightmare. All right,
anyway,
Gotti.
yeah.
Hot takes. Or wait, you know what? No, we're gonna wait for yours. We're gonna wait with yours. I'm gonna go with my hot take first. And
okay,
then
don't steal
my
mine.
hot take first. We're gonna keep yours towards the end. My hot take is Andrés Guardado is gonna start, and I'm good and happy that Andrés Guardado starts in the midfield.
Are you biased at all, depending on your outfit right now? Like,
it could be.
No,
you know what?
That's a very biased hot take.
No, it isn't biased because I already had it.
Imagine if I was like, my hot take is Pokemon's awesome. Be like, well, come on,
no,
bro.
if this, no. Betis over the weekend winning 2-0 against Real Sociedad. Andrés Guardado was captain 90 minutes.
Fair, yeah.
Who else is playing in that level in the midfield?
Fair.
Like, I know everybody wants these players. Eddie Gutierrez for sure. I'm not saying that, and I like that Lizzie and Edson, but I feel like Andrés is there being the captain, having 5 World Cups. And if the pace wasn't there, like if there was a problem where he's slow, watching and all the fans rave about Andrés Guardado. Look up Andrés Guardado, Betis fans. Everyone's saying just like how great of a player he is. And I think people just kind of go because they want the youngsters, and I totally get it. But to me, he's to captain the World Cup, playing at the top of his game, not injured, and playing 90 minutes in Europe right now. I don't think we could say no if that plays him, and I think he will be. So
it's a good hot take. It's a good one. It's a good one. I like that.
I think it's also a medium take.
Oh.
Yeah,
If I put right now, Andrés Guardado to start in my Twitter, oh my gosh, like I'll get like unfollow.
Wait, I'm curious. Lizzie, did you just say what was the hot take you said? That Valentina on what?
No, I'm waiting for like Valentina on Cholula, like hot take. Because right now we're like with the medium takes.
These are Cholula take. All right. I don't know if it's a hot take. I think the U.S. makes it out of the group. I think the U.S. makes it out of the group.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the U.S. and Mexico make it out of the group.
I think talking about the U.S. wastes a waste of my saliva for me.
Oh, ouch. Oh, my God.
And that is why it's a hot take. Scotty got mad.
No, I just have nothing to say about them.
Canada won't get any points. Is that a hot take?
Can a hot take be that Canada is best performing team in the World Cup from the CONCACAF region?
Oh yeah,
that's a hot take.
Yeah, in qualifiers.
No, in the CONCACAF.
Now.
I'll say like that they'll surpass they'll total points, goal score, whatever differential. I think wouldn't be a surprise if Canada did better than Mexico, United States, Costa Rica
in the World Cup.
Yeah,
really, like with the team that with the group that they have, you think they'll get more points and goals?
I wouldn't be surprised if they finished beyond what Mexico.
Where are they at?
Group F.
Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, that was
a hot take.
That was a hot take.
I don't think they make it out of the group.
I don't think so. That is a hot take. I don't think so.
Watching them in CONCACAF play is just like they.
Yeah, that's CONCACAF.
What I'm saying is that Mexico is like tactically Mexico, they're accustomed to having the ball. They have a bunch of possession and they try to find a way to break teams down. Canada haven't. Like you see the way that they played against Mexico. They don't need possession. They could defensively do well and then just hit teams directly. And I think that Mexico has to kind of like change their tactics a little bit to deal with having a lack of possession against a Argentina, potentially a Poland. Canada just has to keep doing what they've been doing. They'll be fine.
But I don't know. Playing against Belgium and Croatia. Like I get it. If you put, I can give you like Canada. You put them in our group. Maybe Canada, you put them in the U.S.'s group, maybe, but they're playing against Belgium and Croatia. So that's why I'm just kind of like, and it's the first time there, and players don't have experience. Like
Lizzie's looking at me like I'm the most bizarre person she's ever met.
No, because two things.
Lizzie, no. I like Lizzie on because she hates Canada, like me.
No, well, the thing is,
I don't hate Canada.
First of all, they had their historically best CONCACAF qualifying cycle since the 1980s, and Mexico still managed to like tag them in points. So like
at their worst.
At our worst. So that really should be taken into consideration. And two, John Herdman did a great job with his squad, but the internal turmoil that they have right now, not believing in their team enough to have a conversation with any manufacturer of a jersey says enough about themselves. Why would I literally believe in Canada where their own organization does not believe in themselves? Plus, you have the internal struggle between the federation and the players. There's some great figures on that team, like great Alfonso Davis, Jonathan David, great Jonathan Osorio, great figures. Do I think they're going to do well? Nah.
I think actually, I've always kind of seen that. Actually, I know you've seen that with with the issues with jersey sales and whatnot and the sponsorships. And yeah, there's a lot of turmoil, but I kind of see that as a rallying point for them, for the players. I think if there was ever a moment for these players to really step up, I'd be like, no, actually, we deserve even more respect from the federation, from those. That's how I've. The fun thing is that's how I think Lizzie, we can make the argument for both sides, to be perfectly honest.
They deserve respect. 1,000,000% they deserve respect.
But I just think that I think with the issues with the federation, I forget, it's been a while since I read the article it's basically it's like the sum of Canadian soccer, that they've had issues with the players not getting enough of the financial benefits that this company is getting. I think doing well in a World Cup would be a fantastic opportunity for them to say, hey, we actually deserve a lot more respect. We deserve a lot more financial benefits and boost here, as opposed to them struggling and perhaps the federation, and I forget the exact, I think it's just called Canadian Soccer Business, if I remember correctly. I'll have to reread the article, but I think those in charge can make more of an argument of just, well, keep things as they are if Canada don't exceed expectations. So I don't know. I see that as a rallying point. I can also see how you would.
Take.
Yeah.
But the mentality is not there. The focus is not there. They definitely deserve more respect from their federation. But for the past couple of months, they delayed a friendly. They didn't even go out on the pitch because their mentality was in their internal turmoil rather than let's prepare for our first World Cup in 20, 30 years. So that's what I mean by that.
I just look at the group. I think barely they get 3 points. So, and a big stage like the World Cup, even the Morocco game is going to be tough. Canada, players, maybe 1 point, maybe 3 points. But who knows? Yeah, they've been surprising us, and I have not believed in them, Cesar. So who knows? Maybe they get 6 points in there, and it's like a Costa Rica story for Canada. They do have some good players.
Put it at the bottom. Canada wins 2022 World Cup, says Cesar.
Canada and Mexico become both campeones. All the players went through a
Jonathan David scores hat-trick against Brazil.
All right, Scotty, we're ready for the hot takes. Here we go. This is why we made
so
this
show.
So
much pressure. I don't have many.
Hot
my primary one is
Wait, hold on. Before you say it, I gotta show a hot take by football. Orbelin gets 3 goal contributions this World Cup. Orbelin, that's a hot take. Is it a hot take?
Yeah, that's 100% a hot take. Yeah. Any Mexican player getting more than 2 goals in a World Cup, that's a big deal.
Well, no, it's 3 goals contributions. That's like assists too, no? I would start Guardado against Poland and Argentina. Oh, there you go. I can see that. I can see it. Okay. All right, Kari, we're ready.
My primary one is I believe it will be Argentina.
Whoa, really? Oh, dang. That's awesome. That's a great hot take.
That is a good
I feel like, yes, I understand the bar has been lowered and obviously we've been struggling. And I think we are maybe in reality of what our potential is. But I think that maybe me looking back at the game versus Alemania, and it's kind of just goes back to why not? Why can't we say that we're capable of beating Argentina? You know what I mean? So I say we beat Argentina. Whatever happens after that, I don't care. But if we beat Argentina, my heart will be a little bit healed back from looking at 2006 that we're not going to talk about anymore.
And also
lose against Poland, beats Argentina, lose against Saudi Arabia, and we're like, okay, we didn't make it out of the group. We got 3 points.
Well, I think I would say, I think all in all, jokes and stuff, I think we will get out of the group stage. I think for me, the hot take is that we will beat Argentina.
Right.
I don't care about Messi. I don't care about any other players in there. I mean, at the end of the day, they're the same type of players. I mean, we have our own, we can have our own Messi in our own Mexican Messi style. Like, why do we have to be?
He just won a title.
The Mexican Messi? Yeah.
Mexican Messi.
I don't know if it's just Argentina's ready to like.
Traditionally, though, Mexico, like there's every single World Cup, we're just like, we're going to struggle against Italy. Oh, that's actually a decent result. Oh, we're going to struggle against France. Oh, that's actually a decent result. Oh, we're going to struggle against Germany. Actually, that's an okay result. It's just like,
but not against Argentina ever. The only time we ever did well against Argentina.
But this is in the group stage, not the knockout round.
Confederations Cup. True. We got to look at Mexico. Yeah, that's definitely. Remember this, everybody. When Mexico beats Argentina, we're gonna go back to Kari saying, "I told you all." And when she
I told you so, with my like Katrina face, roll the clip, like Kari
roll the clip. All right.
Really confusing for you.
I mean, if anything, obviously, the whole thing of Tata caring more about, Argentina, he's ready for his next job and all this stuff. Like, oh no, he's like scouting the players, so he knows who we're working with. I mean, if anything, he owes us that. If he's been so into, looking at Argentina, he owes us that. He has the key to success, versus Argentina in that game. So I don't know. I think at 2-1, I'm gonna say it 2-1. We beat Argentina
with just an amazing performance. You know who's got to have an amazing performance for that to happen, right, Kari?
Oh my God! Let's move on to the next.
Guillermo Ochoa. Guillermo Ochoa's gonna have an amazing performance.
No,
Hector Moreno shutting down Messi left and right. Oh my God, greatest defender in the world. It's amazing.
Okay, you know what? I'm having a little less faith now. Things are coming up.
No. Good. My other hot take that I wrote down, and I'll go back to me. And if you have another one, Kari, was that I think overall Tata's gonna be fine. Like I think people are gonna be like, hey, he's not gonna get us to the quinto partido, but I don't think he's gonna be like a disastrous. So we will. Well, I think it's all gonna point to this. I think players being healthy, players that he wants in his squad playing together and coming in with minutes, Tata will finally be doing what he's been working for. And I think that people that want Tata out, I'll be like, who knows? We'll see what happens. All right. Any other hot take, Kari? Or is that your big hot take?
I think Pocho Guzman is blacklisted from La Selección Mexicana because of what happened to Chivas. So I don't think we'll see Pocho in the future in La Selección because of that, which is unfortunate because he's a good player. He's been pretty consistent. No one turns to look at him. I think because of the whole Chivas dopaje situation, I think he is blacklisted. I mean, they interviewed him and said, like, I don't know why I'm not considered. I have the best numbers. Kind of like throwing his own little hot take of why come and look at me, And then just the other one about the whole thing going around Twitter about comparing Memo Ochoa to a mix of, we're going to see this Memo Ochoa version of Neuer with blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
I was about to put him out in this here. I think somebody listened to the Mexican soccer show, FIFA, and like all your accounts and was like going to Kari because everyone this week was like, this is who's going to be at the World Cup. It was like this push against Memo Ochoa. We have that much influence, Kari. Like, it's funny to see all those. I was thinking about you.
I just think he's a regular portero. I don't think much of him. Has he had good actuaciones en Mundial? Yes. Off of that and just his trajectory, I don't see him as like, wow. I see him as it's an average goalie. But you know what? We're conditioned to go to Sigmund Freud. We're conditioned that this is the best goalie we have. This is the only option. So here we go. So I feel like we don't really talk much about it until now that he's aging, because back then it's like, well, es lo que tenemos, es el mejor que tenemos, quote unquote. Yeah, like instead of building more of a foundation of pushing more. Because honestly, like, are we gonna say any other player is gonna give him a competition to start? No, it's always been Memo. We're conditioned like in porteria is Memo, whether you like it or not, it's Memo, and that's how it's gonna be. And that's rendida eso.
But when you have a World Cup keeper,
like in the World Cup now.
But when you have a good keeper, and that's the thing, Kari, and I get like when you have someone that did well in World Cups, is doing well at clubs, and we know what he does at international level, that's always a conversation with keepers, though. Like always, you're never going to have, if you look at all the keepers, they stay for a while. If you do well in World Cups and you're well-renowned and you're doing well in clubs, you're going to continue to stay there. Because it's, and I think that's kind of falls on what you're saying. Like, no one can touch Ochoa because he's done that well. But I think that's football in general. Like, there is Costa Rica has a great keeper, Navas, right? Amazing keeper. No one's ever going to get there, and continuing and aging is going to continue to be Navas. There's a great keeper from Herediano. I was watching the final yesterday. Made amazing stops, right? And people are comparing him to Navas, but it's Navas. At the same time, Navas is way better than Ochoa. So I'll be you there with what he did.
Go.
Yes, for sure. Best player in CONCACAF, I think, in the last 10 years coming out. All right. Let's see. What others? Think Danny to finish the show. Mexico beats Argentina by a PK with Raul. Think Danny's saying we tie to Argentina and Ochoa blocks Messi shots. Fuera Tata chants flood every World Cup match, even matches that Mexico isn't involving. People are mean. If we're being honest, we lose to Argentina 3-0, lose to Poland 2-1, and barely beat Saudi Arabia 1-0. There is the hot take.
That's not really loving McLover.
Not very loving McLover.
I like how against Saudi Arabia it's like just 1-0. Not like.
Yeah. 2014 Memo was the best version of Memo Ochoa. I don't see that happening this World Cup only because he's getting old.
Yes, right. McLover.
There you go. We could very well see, Ochoa mistakes. And there's Scotty's first tweet. I told you so.
Hey, remember.
All right. We've gone over time. This is what happens once again because Amy's on vacation and we have nobody telling me you gotta stop. But I appreciate.
Oh, can I say one quick funny hot take that I don't like, but I just want to say it?
Go for it.
I really dislike Wiso. Not hate. Dislike Antuna.
You dislike Wiso?
Not hate.
I dislike Antuna, but I think he will score against Argentina. That is a hot take. That's a silly hot take.
Hey, the perfect counter-attacking player.
It makes sense. Tata's favorite attacking player to score against Argentina and everyone. He's just like living it up. I love it. It's Mexican football. All right. I know it's kind of getting late for those of you. If you're trick-or-treating on the East Coast or you're handing out candy. Thank you again to Lizzie for jumping on. In and out cashier going right now to check in.
Amy, we'll talk about this later.
Wait, what happened? Oh, Gotti, what?
What? We'll talk about it later, okay? I just said it's a silly hot take because I really want to punch Antuna most of the time.
Oh, the Antuna, yeah. What's out? President of Antuna Nation,
anger.
Amy Lopez. Cesar, thanks again for joining. All right, hand out some candy there.
Dude, you don't have like a Pokemon thing you can like?
Yeah, I got one who's right here.
No, but like the actual
ball.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No.
Like maybe you're like takeoff,
No, I'm gonna be heading out in a little bit. Maybe I'll bring. I've showed it off, but maybe I'll bring all my Pokemon cards. I'll be really popular at the bar, right? Just hey everybody,
there should.
Do you got a holographic Electabuzz?
You want to trade? Yeah.
Trade, play, and Katrina Cari. Thank you for joining and all the hot takes. We'll see. So. All right. This is fun. I think I put this on backwards actually. So we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna wear this outside because people will be like, well, who are you? What are you around here? So I'm giving out some candy. They're like, crazy soccer guy over here. All right. Me encantaron los disfraces a Fanny.
Thank you
so much, Fanny. Our biggest fan right now the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. That is by the way.
Yes, our biggest fan. Thank you so much, Fanny. All right, Mexican Soccer Show. We'll have another live show next week. Big World Cup preview. We'll be going over all of the groups. We're going to start thinking about projections of who can make the World Cup. So be ready. Inviting everybody to be a part of this. Get your questions ready. All about El Mundial, and then we have another Mexican Soccer Show after that, and then Mexico plays. Like I was looking at the calendar, it's gonna come fast. I don't think people are realizing how fast we're going to be watching Mexico for those that are going to watch early in the morning. So, McLover saying Wiso's Hugo Sanchez. I could have been Hugo Sanchez, yeah, with this. I couldn't find another. No, I'm
a Pumas outfit with tiny shorts. Like
I thought he was the assistant for the Cuervos.
Andres.
I was thinking that too, and I was like, he doesn't look like him. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's my favorite Hugo Sanchez.
El otro.
Hugo Sanchez. No, and then it's anyways. All right. Thanks again. Nos vemos en la próxima. Hasta la próxima Mexican Soccer Show. We are out. Adios.
Gotta catch 'em all.